Welcome to the new, improved RaceGuru Thunder Hour, where we have our trio of hosts for you today, joined as always, the man, the myth, the legend, behind the curtain, in front of the gray curtain today, the one and only Sean Engel. You can follow on Twitter at, or I guess X, whatever you want to call it, at Sean E247. That's SEAN E247. And the deep fisherman is back. Their deep sea fisherman is back with us again. The one and only DFS Marlin, Mark Hogan, is back to help us out with some of our DFS. I tell you what, logic, strategy, whatever you want to call it, Mark, you have made me a better DFS player, and I love it. So give Mark a follow on X at DFS_Marlin. He will help you rope in those big fish or whales, as G Money likes to call it. Gentlemen, live stream. This is new. I love it.
Woo!
Love it.
We're live. It's so much fun to say that we are actually getting to try this out right here. So that means we get to see all the comments right here in our chat. So in the StreamYard chat, if you're a Fantasy Guru subscriber, go ahead, leave comments. We like to see you. We like to hear from you. And just as like William G said, vroom, vroom, we can display them on screen too. So you can be a part of the show with us for this week as we go forth and we get to talk about Daytona.
The Great American Race.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with us or our coverage, well, I mean, Rich did go around and introduce us all. We are the NASCAR team over at FantasyGuru.com. We basically make content covering all the NASCAR races each and every week while we're in season. And this is one of our cornerstone staples of our content, the RaceGuru Thunder Hour. So we usually do this each and every week where applicable, as long as we can realistically make it. But yeah, it's our fun place in order to go forth and talk NASCAR. And we're back for 2026, guys.
So is NASCAR. We weren't sure we were going to have NASCAR in 2026 at one point this offseason. So, hey, to hit the ground running, and there's a lot of stuff to be pumped about. We were talking off air. I'm really excited for the truck race and series. The duels are always fun. The duels used to be my favorite race of the year. I like the small tweak to the duels this year as far as who gets in. I think it's going to make watching it a little more enjoyable again, as well as meaningful. We're still probably going to have 50% throttle on Sunday and some of the games being played, probably Saturday too. But I got to tell you, for the first time in years, guys, I'm kind of excited on the path NASCAR's headed down. I understood Kyle Busch's points about the chase and why he's not a big fan, but honestly, in my opinion, his arguments fell on deaf ears because it was no different with the last system. So I'm pumped.
Yeah, a lot of baby steps being made over the offseason right here. Mark, what do you think about the 2026 season? How are you feeling about it?
I'm excited. I think for me, it's going to be like a whole different sport to a certain degree, just with all the different rule changes and the horsepower update and all that kind of stuff. So, I enjoyed watching the short track race the other week. That was actually oddly entertaining with all of the different weather delays. So, but the duels, to your point, Rich, that's always a nice little treat to have, kind of a teaser leading up to the start of the season. And not to mention, we've got DFS slates for the duels. So I don't know, I might do a little mass entry type of approach for the duels tomorrow night.
Yeah, I remember last year when we went through the duels, we were like, why can't we have the duels every week?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice teaser, and then it goes right into the trucks race. And like you said, with trucks, with the Ram line that we've now got here, and there's so many new elements to this season that make it very exciting to kick things off.
And as much as I love Corey Haim, we aren't going to have Haim time stinking up the show. I think that hasn't really been talked about much, but I got to tell you, as I was going through the list and looking at drivers and lines, it was weird seeing so much parity. Like, yes, Lane Riggs is going to be up there, right? Chandler Smith, both of them, I expect big things from Front Row. They were contenders last year. That's not going to change. Maybe Thor Sport has a bit of a bounce back with making some changes there. That would be good. Tricon's definitely doing some changes. We have a couple of still not yet announced drivers, or at least clarity on that. I hadn't found confirmed rides. Cletus McFarland just got approved for his Nice ride. If you look at the entry list, he's not even on there, for example, but that is confirmed. So there's a lot going on. And that's why I said I'm really excited for the trucks, because you've heard me talk about how much I love watching the up and comers and kind of being ahead of the storm. We kind of have a reset here, right? Because the Nick Sanchez is in Xfinity. Heim has kind of moved on. Now we got to talk about Caden Honeycutt, right? We're going to talk about Butterbean McQueen or Butterbean Queen, right? Some of these other guys that maybe people aren't real well familiar with yet. But as Carson Hocevar is showing us, it's okay to go from trucks to cup, not to mention there's a guy that's racing all 3 series this week, right? So
there you go.
Same platform. 5 years ago, Carson Hocevar was in the truck series, and that's who we were talking. I remember pushing him in bets and stuff. There's a reason for that. So here we go. I love William G's comment here, by the way.
Oh, yeah. How much money are books going to make from Cletus bets? Yeah, I think the books are going to be making some money this week off of that alone.
I actually think the money is going to come in on Stewart. I think there's going to be a lot of people that just assume Tony Stewart can pick up where he left off type of thing, and he was really good at Daytona, even though he doesn't have a 500 win. His line was a little interesting to me compared to some of the other drivers around him. Like, I think I'd rather have the drivers around him or slightly below him based on the odds. But yeah, William, I think you're spot on. The Travis Pastrana, Cletus McFarland stuff is going to generate fandom, excitement. Maybe we use him in DFS, maybe, depending on qualifying spot. I mean, look, Cletus McFarland didn't look terrible in his debut last year. I actually thought he looked decent, and I think that's kind of why Greg Biffle took him under his wing. For R&P, Greg Biffle, we miss you, buddy.
Yeah, missing the Biff right there. Man, that's rough to think.
I think they said with Allmendinger's number, they're like adjusting the logo or something to match Greg Biffle's old number.
Yeah, they're changing the number font on it for his car. And all of the RFK racing cars are adjusting to the Greg Biffle style font for their numbers too in Cup. So there's that too.
I did not know that.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool. Hey, William, I don't think you're off on Stewart. If he finishes top 10, I would say that's a win for a guy that hasn't been in a car that turns to race in what, 6-7 years now? I mean, he's been, going forward fast in his NHRA cars, but that's about it. He's probably done some dirt I missed. I bet she's
other than SRX, the 3 seasons that was on too.
That's right. I forgot about SRX. Hey, pour a little out for SRX. Turns out they were the bigger thorn in NASCAR's side than anyone thought. Who would have thought some podunk 16 race midweek racing platform would make NASCAR nervous? But here we are.
Yeah, it has been closer to almost 10 years since he's driven anything in NASCAR.
I'm old, William. It all blends together, man. Until I start pulling dates and see 2010 and 2016, it all blends together. I figured it had to be longer than I thought because isn't he in the Hall? Didn't he get in the Hall now?
Yeah, he is in the Hall. Yeah, I believe 2016 was the last time he drove in Cup.
Yeah,
and he did not do anything NASCAR related since, other than owning Stuart Haas there.
He couldn't get out of that fast enough, apparently.
Not fast enough, I guess.
Right? Man, I tell you what, we could have a whole show on the court case because there was just so much wild stuff that came out. I mean, none of us were shocked, really, but although I gotta throw someone under the bus. Jordan Bianchi, you're a hypocrite, buddy. I promise you, if Richard Childress had said the same thing that Steve Phelps said, you would not have written an article that said Richard Childress should still be in the sport. You'd be writing an article about how it was time the old man left the sport. So why don't you be a little less hypocritical and be on point? Not that he'll see this, but I needed to say that. That dude really irked me.
We could try to send it to him.
Do it. I'm blocked. I can't send it to him. There's a lot of NASCAR media that has me blocked. I don't care.
I do know about some of those, at the very least, from what you've told me.
Yeah, but, I'll be honest. I don't care. And if you go back and look at the comments I made and the stuff that led to me being blocked, I wasn't wrong. In fact, they're taking heat. It's funny. Those same people are taking heat with people accusing them of the same things I did 6 years ago. So they can say I'm the bad guy, but when there's one common denominator, I don't know. As a guy told me one time, someone says something about you, you dismiss it. When two people say the same thing, you start to wonder. When three or more say the same thing, it's high time to look in the mirror.
Maybe. Well, maybe. Well, before we get on into our content for today, let's quickly go over the fact that we are a part of FantasyGuru.com, as you know, and as such, they have a lot of different content even outside the NASCAR space. They're getting their MLB content available, so you can go forth and get the MLB guides right there. You can hear all the latest content. You could see all the latest articles. Again, you hyped up for MLB season by the Oracle Ray Flowers, Patio Joe, and the rest of the MLB team going forth right there. But we do know that spring training is going to be coming up very soon, so there is that. You may want to go forth and get the MLB content at FantasyGuru.com and be ready for that. We also have options for the MVP, Platinum, VIP, or all-in packages. So definitely go over to FantasyGuru.com, take a look at all those packages, and you'll be able to see what Fantasy Guru has to offer you outside of just NASCAR. I mean, NASCAR content is included within all of these packages anyway, but if you did want to upgrade, well, that's what hitting up support at FantasyGuru.com is for. So go forth and do that and let them know that we sent you. Be nice to them and they'll hook you up. And, you could always speak nice words to them, as Rich Maletto says.
Whispering sweet nothings never gets you in trouble. Just saying. Well, unless you end up with a kid, I guess. But I don't think you have to worry about that with our email link there.
True. Very true.
So try it one time. You might be surprised. It works.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I have a question for you. Were you guys shocked at all how late the lines dropped on all the races this weekend? We still don't even have lines for the duels yet, I noticed.
Last I saw, there were lines for Cup Series qualifying up tonight, and just Daytona 5 stuff. And
okay, so
I think the O'Reilly series had some lines as well.
So right before I submitted the article, which was around end of business today, truck top 3 in winter lines were up. I believe you could also pull top 5. O'Reilly winter lines top 3, and I know for a fact top 5s were up. I don't know if there was, like I said, I know trucks didn't have a top 10. Salaries just got loaded today. There are no salaries yet for the duels, though, which I thought was weird because I would have thought the salaries would be the same as the 500, but they're not apparently. So just something to keep in mind, that there's still some fluidity, if you will. But look, the whole schedule week is weird, right? Because they pulled lines this morning because trucks or cup cars were practicing. Ooh, Hard Rock has all 3 series up. See, I don't have access to Hard Rock. These are good things to know. So I live in a no fun state, so you guys can Discord me or whatever. Hit us in the chat here. Feel free. It's all 3 series and no cup. William,
well, actually, there's a good reason for that. There is a
because they qualified.
Yeah,
qualifying's now ongoing as we speak right here.
That's why they were pulled. Okay. For some reason, I thought they were qualifying this morning. What channel's qualifying on, Sean?
In order to get to qualifying, you need Amazon Prime. You got to go on their streaming service to get it. Because like last year, all the qualifying sessions from the first half of the season are on Prime.
I'm so confused on what they're doing. The NFL's taking freaking lessons from NASCAR. Like I swore it said qualifying was on FS2.
I saw somewhere that I'm pretty sure that it was back on Prime this year.
Yeah, I was going to say the lines are adjusting as we speak right now. Like I think when we started this, they were up. And so to your point, just because everyone's live right now, O'Reilly's has winner and top 5 still. So no top 3, but those 2 on DraftKings. Trucks, I think, is up. Yeah, Trucks is winner in top 5 as well. So Trucks and O'Reilly's is pretty static at this point.
Yeah, I don't expect those to change at all since those two series aren't doing anything tonight. I think we'll get some updated lines after qualifying wraps up right here. And really, the only important thing about qualifying is that it's going to set up the top 2 positions for the 500 tonight. Everybody else is going to get sorted out through the duels. So I expect some movement right there, depending on where some of these drivers end up qualifying. Oh, yeah, and FS1, I did see now online, does have qualifying up too.
Yep, I just now saw that, so I just turned it on. And, of course, the basketball game is still going on, so it's on FS2 or the Fox Sports app right now until this game is over. Boy, I tell you what, man, with the stuff they pulled for the Clash with 30 laps to go after we sat through and going to FS2, like I am really
frustrating.
I'm really upset with Fox. I mean, and the thing is as much as I want to bash NASCAR, this is not a NASCAR thing. This is a TV thing. This is Fox prioritizing what they think brings in the most eyes and viewers, which I can appreciate. My problem is FS2 is not mainstay. It's not on a lot of cable packages. It's not on the lower 3 packages for DirecTV. So DirecTV, you couldn't put it on a normal package. YouTube does. But this is what I'm talking about. There's not even a good way to stream it. So unless you have YouTube TV that includes FS2, if you got cable and satellite, I'm not sure you get FS2. I guess I've never used the Fox Sports app. Have you guys?
Yeah.
I believe I tried it before, but it's okay. It's not great though.
Oh
yeah, that is a frustrating thing. It happens here and there throughout the season too. I feel like where you want to watch it and all of a sudden it's not in the same spot and it's like only on the app and then it moves 3 times because other programming like college basketball get prioritized or things of that nature. So I get it, man. I feel like also PSA for the duels tomorrow. I'm curious what they do with pricing. It's like DraftKings, I don't know, has the bandwidth to honestly price accurately for an event like that. I would not be surprised if we saw like very static standard pricing. Like maybe it like is treated like the NFL preseason if they don't have pricing out for it, where it's like everyone is just priced the same salary and you just got to piece together the right lineup. I don't know. It'll be interesting, but.
Well, keep in mind, the fields are going to be half size, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to get any more than 20, 22. I think there's 42 or 44 total entries or 41 total entries. I'd have to go count.
It's 45 total entries overall. So the 500.
So you're going to have 22 to 23 cars in each duel. So far less than what we have in a typical lineup, much closer to what you experienced with F1. I'm just shocked, Mark, that they aren't just throwing the same pricing out for the race because they're not going to change the pricing for the 500, right? So if one thing I want to look at is let's compare the 500 pricing to the dual pricing if it is in fact different, right? Because maybe they are making it different based on qualifying, but I'll tell everybody this. Qualifying doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Especially not at a place like this. But that's a great, that's the DFS mindset is to kind of track between where they're at on the duels versus pricing in the race and then see where you can get the discounts. I will say, I feel like last year they did do that, what you just said, where they just took the same pricing as the race itself. So that's why I'm like crossing my fingers because I feel like they could really jack this up.
Yeah, because I mean, in all seriousness, I'm not worried about money even for the duels, right? I mean, in all fairness, I'll put a couple people in the duels. I hope it's contrarian. I don't know if it will be, and maybe Mark, you can educate me. But I would love to put in Chandler Smith, Corey Heim, a couple of guys that aren't guaranteed to make the race, right? Especially if they qualify. Let's say there's drivers that are starting 18th and back, okay? And 3 or 4 of those drivers aren't locked into the race. I want a couple of them in that lineup because I know for a fact those guys are racing their way in. they're going to push to the where they're not going to push it right. They're not going to push too far because they need the car right for the race. But at the same time, where the guys that start, I tell you who I won't use. I will fade whoever starts on the front row, or at least starts number one in both duels, because their spots are locked. The only reason they wouldn't be is if they wreck. So either they race well and they wreck, or they race well and don't wreck, or they ride around in the back. Those are the only real three scenarios for them. None of those scenarios help us for DFS, really, except for one. So, and even then, it's risky because they're starting up front. They could start or finish fifth or sixth. Doesn't matter for them. There is no need for the guys to start on the front row to push the envelope. So, fade them. I wouldn't use anybody that's starting on the pole in either duel. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's only very few exceptions where I'd even consider that. If you get like one of the drivers that you get one of those stubborn drivers that don't want to give up the lead, and then they start right up front, like a Joey Logano type.
I would say Joey Logano is the one that comes to mind when I think of that, right? I mean, the dude can't help himself but try to run up front at these tracks, and he can't help himself but making 3 wide blocks. I mean, as much as everyone dogs Ricky Stenhouse, you show me what Ricky does is that much different than Joey. It's not. And the difference is Joey's won a lot more and more consistently everywhere else. So I get, Mr. Big One all the time. Well said, William. Well said.
Yeah,
you got my vote for comment of the day on that one. That's up. Game's over. We got cars on the track. Ooh, guess who was a little faster than Mr. Heim time?
Who?
Ryan Preece.
Hey,
and it does have the Jake Biffle font. Well, I put Priest in the article. So just so everybody knows that's watching this, the article was submitted before the show. Okay. This was before qualifying. This is before I got to talk to Mark and Sean. So if you see stuff, you're like, what the hell? That's why. Or if you're like, oh, that could be why too. So it has long been submitted. It's in the editorial guru's hands. And I refer to Povia as the editorial guru because he is a monster machine. He is amazing. So he has it. We'll get it up tomorrow. Knowing Rob, I bet you the article's up sooner than we think. I'm hoping the article, I won't be shocked. I'm not promising you, but I won't be shocked if the article's up yet tonight. If not tomorrow morning, you will have it up before the duels. Although it won't have qualifying information in it. But here again, here's the sad thing for Daytona qualifying, guys, in Talladega. I'm cheering for my guys to have a bad run. I am cheering for them to screw up, to not run that high enough line on the warm-up lap, to just miss a smidge on corner entry or something. Like Todd Gilliland's on the track right now. Or is that Chandler Smith? I can't tell. I think that's Gilliland. It's Gilliland. I want Gilliland to
38
suck.
or 6?
What's that? 34. It's Gilliland.
Okay,
I want him to
34.
suck. Because right now at his price point, he's a lock in all but one lineup for me at this point.
Well, here's the thing we have to consider, too, and we can basically tie this into our previewing Daytona discussion right here, is that when it comes to the open cars in particular, 2 of them are going to lock up their spots tonight, at least into the big show. We have to keep that in mind, because if we get those drivers that end up locking the spots, then that means they're fine with staying safe in the duel in order to maintain a decent starting position. They're not going to be like those open guys that are going to have to race their way in, and they're going to try to be pulling moves in order to get the best finish possible, which also could potentially hurt their DFS value entirely too by finishing higher up in the field. So it lowers their possible ceiling that they can get.
But you touched on something that I'm really excited about, Sean. That's the only cars that are locked in. There is no more falling back on time. So let's just say it's Heim and right now Allgaier's up on the board. So let's just say it's Heim and Allgaier. They're locked in. Okay. All the other guys, the Casey Mears, the who's got
BJ McLeod's,
BJ McLeod, but who's the one that's used the provisional? Because he doesn't count because Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Johnson,
the provisional.
Jimmy will be on with the provisional, so it doesn't matter. But any of these other guys, to Sean's point, the only way they get in, now remember, out of the 45 entries, only 41, honestly, we kind of want Jimmy to qualify well, because otherwise he gets the free spot at 41. which I guess if you want to see somebody else in, maybe we want him to use the provisional. Either
Well,
way, we're not going to have
that's a rule change that they enacted this year, that if you get the provisional and apply for it, then you have to use it no matter what.
Oh, so no matter, even if he won a duel tomorrow, he's still the 41st car in the field.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. So we're going to have 41 cars in the field. That means 4 are going home tomorrow night.
Yep, that is correct.
All right. Good deal. Well, as William pointed out, Gilliland did suck. The only drivers right now slower than him, and granted only 9 have gone, are Ty Dillon, Daniel Suarez, and Casey Mears. So this is good for us because, like I said, we didn't want Gilliland to move too much, especially the money's not going to matter for DFS, but for his odds, right? So right now at $5,900, guys, I am hard pressed to find another driver I'm more excited to use for DFS purposes than Todd Gilliland.
Well, before we get on into that and get too deep into talking directly about the drivers, let's talk about the track and the type of racing that we'll see right
Fair
here.
enough.
So we're going to be seeing some packed racing. It's Daytona, of course. It's going to be like that in all 3 series as it stands. We're going to be seeing the potential for large-scale wrecks. That much is very certain right there, too, especially with the stages. Well, actually, with the rules changes, there is going to be less incentive in order to win the stages outside of the stage points, since bankable playoff points are no longer a thing, too.
That is the stuff I think people are going to gripe about. I think people enjoyed the, race back to the flag type of mentality. But we're still getting the restarts. So we're still going to get, it's still tough to pass in this car. We're still going to get all the gnarly restarts. But I tell you what, Sean, what you just described, I think, is the biggest change. As Mark was saying, we've got a lot of changes and he feels like it's almost a different sport. I'm almost on the opposite side of that. I don't feel like things change much. If anything, this goes back to what we were used to doing 5-6 years ago. The biggest change is there's no real incentive to drive like a moron, right? As much as we love the Austin Dillon deal, there's no incentive to do that. There was literally no reason for him to ever make that move again with the current setup, right? And so I know it's Kenobi, I think, that's been burned at the end of these races the most, it feels like. Maybe he just has a way of expressing it well, but I feel like he's been burned at the end of these races far too many times. I feel like he has a little bit of a saving grace now, right? Like, I don't expect someone in 5th to push the envelope and try to knock over the first 3 guys to get the win, right? So now I almost feel like we can go back to, instead of chasing chaos and understanding our lineups have to have a little bit of chaos in it, maybe we can go back to chasing points. Does that make sense?
I do think that's going to pop up in some teams' minds for sure right there too. Particularly the drivers and teams that are like, I do not like this style of racing. I just want to make it through.
What does Kyle Busch wear that shirt every year that says the most expensive day in all of motorsports or something like that, or most expensive? He's got a shirt he wears every year that's referencing the fact that we're going to tear up a whole bunch of cars. I'll see
Something
if I can
along
find
those
it.
lines. You got to find that.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. See if I can get an image that we can throw up on the screen.
Yeah, but for DFS and betting, this is the kind of week where I feel like you either want to go all in and take a shot at it, or go very low and just be very, very safe, very cautious with your lineup approaches right there. I feel like you either want, if you're trying to look for your money, you either are liking the random aspect and then you try a bunch of different lineups to up your chances, because variety is king when it comes towards lineup construction on these kinds of tracks for DFS. Or you just try to wait it out until you go for other races and go more all in when we know there's more of a sure thing when it comes to the types of drivers we expect to do well or poorly here, because there's still always a lot of unknowns when it comes to this style of racing sometimes.
Yeah, I think to your point, Sean, it's honestly one of the few tracks where you kind of take the historical data out with a grain of salt, because randomness happens at Daytona, and you're going to have wrecks. You're going to have guys get caught up in it just because they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. And there's a lot of change from a lap to lap basis. So, it's like place differential obviously is very, very important. That's kind of the name of the game when it comes to super speedway racing. But, one point we started making last season, and I think this even held up in the short track last week, but it's like, don't forget about those guys that can go from 11th to 4th. And it doesn't make huge headlines, but especially with, like you guys said, with the rule changes, that is like the same equivalent in DFS points to a guy that goes from 24th to 11th. So the guy that goes from 24th to 11th, we're all like, whoa, that's super impressive. The guy that goes from 11th to 4th would be like, yeah, we kind of expected that guy to be there. But that guy that went from 11th to 4th is going to score more points than the other one because they still land at a much higher spot in the race, and you get more and more points as you get closer and closer to first with that place differential. So keep in mind, have a blend of some of those guys in the teens moving up into the top 5, and also the guys in the back portion of the pack.
I always think that there's a bit of a whole cash versus tournament play balance at when it comes to these style of races based on where these guys start too, because you can argue the further back they start, the more cash friendly they get, but the closer that you get towards the front, the more tournament friendly you may want to consider those sorts of guys instead. And then you just kind of have the middle where you got that nice middle ground, which combine that with some of the driver history, with some of the drivers that historically do pretty good on these kinds of tracks. You can find that nice balance right there. That's striking gold as it stands right there.
And one other thing to add that we've probably talked about for 2 seasons now, but feel free to leave money on the table in this type of DFS setting. So, I'm not scared to spend only 50% of the salary this week. Like, give me a lineup with a bunch of guys $6,500 and less for the main race, because it can happen, and it does happen. And guys like Harrison Burton, which I don't think he's racing obviously this race, but guys like Harrison Burton and some of the lesser known names out there all of a sudden win races. So don't be surprised if we see an oddball name drop a race here. Oh, Rich has got the t-shirt pulled up.
The great thing, this photo is so great because it's got Carson Hocevar in the background during his crazy hat phase. Oh, like people forget that for a while he was making a name for himself with all the crazy hats. So this photo is just great for me. I mean, yeah, most expensive day every year, right? And then Hocevar with his hat in the background. I think he won the truck race that year. But yes, this is, and I'm with you guys. I'm leaving money. The best lineup I ever did for one of these tracks, I'm pretty sure I left almost $20,000 in salary on the table. And it was basically a lineup. I just said, I'm chasing place differential. And to your point, I tell you what, Mark, I love Harrison Burton call because he's going to be under the radar racing for Sam Hunt this year in the Xfinity Series. And to your point, he has a knack at these tracks. And Jeb Burton is also quietly going to be on the radars, or should be for us, because Jordan Anderson has a lot of respect in the garage. Especially for his race team. His driving skill, no one's going to knock him and say he's crap. He's not crap, but he's definitely not top tier like some of these other guys. Well, Jeb Burton's got a Jordan Anderson truck ride. Now, I don't know that we can love Jordan Anderson equipment every track, but he and his trucks and cars do really well at these super speedways for some reason. So both the Burton brothers...
Let's not forget, Jeb almost stole a win from one of these events last year.
Exactly. And Jordan Anderson finished 3rd, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and he did finish 3rd, I think, a few years ago within the O'Reilly Series car? Yeah.
Yep. I think, let me look if it was last year or not, but yes.
I don't think it was last year. I want to say it was maybe the year before that.
It very well could have been, but I think he had a top 10 last year too. Like he has historically, or maybe he did wreck, but his vehicles have historically run well at these super speedways. And another name that I'd be throwing in the lineups, Timmy Hill.
Oh yeah, for the trucks, yeah, definitely. I'm in agreement with you there on that.
Again, what are all these drivers have in common that we're listing right now?
They finish races.
They finish races, and they are super low priced. I mean, we are literally talking about. All right, William, you like Todd too, so you know we are not out to lunch on Todd Gilliland, 5,900. He's down there with the same pricing as Heim and them, who are part-time rides, right? Timmy Hill is, was he 40 some hundred? He was one of the lowest priced guys on the slate. So, I'm with you guys. Like,
Crazy.
I don't want the money this week. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And while we're at it, talking about strategy, let's quickly address the betting strategy aspect of these Daytona races, too. I think it's pretty simple. Spread the love around. Spread it around as much as possible, but also just spread it out a lot, but not too much where you lose money just from that. You want to just at least make a little modest profit this week, whether it comes towards the winning bets, or this is also a good track where I would like to bet top 10 bets in particular. That is actually a very good strategy right here. Or even if you wanted to parlay a few of those top 10s together, I like the idea of doing that this week as well.
Sean, you're so money. So Jordan Anderson in his 2 races at Daytona not 2025, but the year before, 4th and 6th. Last year, Daytona, he only raced 3 races total. One of them was Daytona, 7th. After starting 38th, okay? He started 38th last year and finished 7th.
William over here is saying that Gregson apparently has a penalty. Can you cross-reference that, Rich?
I will dig into it. I bet you I was going to say, I bet he put his hand out the window. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Good call out, William. Good call out.
He's going to start from the rear of the field at the duels then, probably.
Again. Okay, guess what? Noah Gragson, lock him in my duel race for me. He's going to be in my core lineup.
Love it.
Yeah.
Jordan Anderson plus 800 for a top 5 bet.
Top 5 would be tough. He's only done that once out of the last 3 races there. Top 10.
Would not do it for a top 5. Would go for a top 10 on
top
that.
10, yeah.
They don't have on Hard Rock. They don't have top 10 yet.
No. Chances are Bet365 or ESPN Bet are going to be your best odds. I couldn't find Fuzzy. Fuzzy must have left us, guys. I'm bummed about this. So if anyone knows Fuzzy, tell Fuzzy we love him and miss him. Fuzzy was great at finding these top 10 lines. I don't know where he was finding them all. It was usually ESPN Bet, I swear. But, man, I'm going to miss Fuzzy chiming in.
But, well, we still got ourselves a lot of books to sort through. And if anybody out there ever wants to suggest any bets, whether it's in the chat tonight or even on the Discord, go ahead and do so. We like hearing from everybody here about that kind of stuff. So go ahead.
If you need a bookie, Rocco is available. He is more than happy to send any books for you guys. I'll be setting the lines, though, so be advised. He won't be. It's just his money and his ears down the line.
True. While we're at it and talking about the drivers from the lower series, how about we go through the list of the notables and part-timers for each series, because we got ourselves a large list this week here. How about
This is you, Sean. This is you, Sean. You have at it, buddy. This list is massive.
Oh, you want me to take on the trucks for you?
I didn't have it broke down, man. If you cheated me and got it broke down for me nice and easy, because I forgot to do that, then I'll be more than happy to go over the trucks, because I like the trucks' names. I'm super excited that these guys running this week. I mean,
because I have the whole list on our rundown here.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I forgot to go there. Sean, I'm out of practice, buddy. I'm out of practice. All right. So there are 44 entries for the trucks. We're only going to race 36. So there's 8 drivers. I shouldn't say guys. 8 drivers going home. Potentially 8. Yeah, because I forgot the Rams kind of have a provisional deal in place depending on where they fall, except I think they're going to have the speed. I could be wrong. All right, so here we go.
The Rams are going to have the speed.
That's right. Here we go. Garrett Smithley, the 0 SS Greenlight Racing
That's
car.
O'Reilly series right there.
Oh, shoot. That is the wrong one. I told you I'm out of practice, guys. Here we go. Here we go. For the trucks, Taylor Gray is going to hop in the number 1 Tricon Garage truck. Ooh, take note of that name. I was looking earlier today and didn't realize he was going to be in trucks. That's a double duty guy, and he ran well for that team in trucks. And that team should be happy because they got rid of what's her name. She didn't even make it. So good on Tricon.
Tony Breidinger. Yeah, she's with Rackley Ward this year. That's another name on this list, by the way. So there you go.
Yep. Jason White for Team Rome Racing. Here's one of my favorites. Cletus McFarland, Greg Biffle's buddy, in the number 4 Nice Motorsports. Nice has got some fun names this week. Nick Lights in the number 5 Tricon truck. That's interesting. I wasn't sure where he was going to land, if he'd get a part-time role with them or not. I expect the number 1 truck and the number 5 truck to have a lot of rotating drivers. Nothing new for them. Michael McDowell, it will be racing in Cup as well. He's in the number 7 Spire Motorsports truck. So that's a ride that Kyle Busch will drive at different times this year. Josh Rome in the number 22 Team Rome machine. Tony Stewart, Smoke himself. My number 25 for Colleague Racing. He will be in a Ram. Tony Breidinger is back with Rackley War Racing. That is who Harrison Burton ran with last year, the number 27. Brian Duzot. Did I get that right, Sean?
I don't know if I fully can get the pronunciation of his name right, so I'll just let it slide either way.
I swear I've seen his name around and heard it before. He's with the FDNY Racing team. Hey, those guys I got a soft spot in my heart for them. They let me work with them before. Greg Van Alst, number 35, Greg Van Alst Motorsports. He would be an interesting one for DFS, guys. He's going to be cheap, very under the radar name, and he's had a couple of decent runs here and there. I also love this. Travis Pastrana, the number 42 Nice Motorsports truck. Like I said, you got Cletus McFarland, the American Bald Eagle, and Travis Pastrana. What could go wrong? Oh, and to make it matters even more confusing, Nice is also supporting a truck for the one and only Ricky Stenhouse, who has a knack at these tracks. I think that's great. He's a little bit of a wild card, but if he's going to show Pastrana and McFarland how to get around the joint, that's a good thing. I am really excited for John Hunter Nemechek, number 62, Halmar Friesen Racing. If you remember correctly, Stuart Friesen had the bad wreck last year. That's the number 52, Halmar Friesen Racing truck. John Hunter Nemechek is taking over the secondary ride that they have there. You'll see 2 trucks for them at most of the big races, big tracks. I expect good things from John Hunter Nemechek. I expect that truck will be just fine. Tyler Tomasi, the number 69 MBM Motorsports. Corey LaJoy also doing double duty in the number 75 Henderson Motorsports truck. Carson Hocevar, previously mentioned, he'll be in the number 77 Spire. Watch out for him. Justin S. Carroll, the number 90 Terry Carroll Motorsports truck. Clay Greenfield in the number 95 GK Racing. And Jason Kitzmiller, number 97 CR7 Motorsports. That will be a teammate to Grant Enfinger. And Grant Enfinger has won well at these tracks. So keep that name in mind, even though I've got to do some research on that driver.
Yeah, we got a lot of interesting names here. And some of these rides are going to be kind of a mix of full-timers, but with multiple drivers. Some are going to be part-time. Like you mentioned about the 2 Tricon trucks there. The number 1 is going to be full-time. You're going to see that every race this year, but it's going to have a different driver every week. Whereas the 5, on the other hand, is going to be part-time this year. We're not going to see that truck every week, for example. So there is that.
Yeah, and the number 1, they've been rotating through drivers every week. I'm just happy that they got rid of Tony. I'm sorry. No offense. She was not deserving of that ride. That is too good of a piece of equipment for her to be in. Yes, I'll be the bad guy.
All right, so that covers the trucks. There's 44 entries for 36 spots. If none of the Ram entries get in on speed, the field will expand up to as high as 40. So keep that in mind this week. Now, the O'Reilly series, we have quite a few names. Mark, you've been handling the O'Reilly names the last couple of times. Do you want to give it a go here?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm used to calling it Xfinity. So, again, it's like a whole new circuit for me to a certain degree.
Just call it no apps.
No apps, okay. So Garrett Smithley in the number 0 with SS Greenlight Racing. Cesar Baccarella, I feel like we've seen him around before. I think I always screw up his last name too. But
No, you got it right.
You got it right this time.
Okay.
You got it right.
In the number 4 with Alpha Prime Racing, Luke Fenhouse. That could be an interesting play for DFS. And the number 5 with Hettinger Racing. I'm not familiar with that one. I feel like that's a new name
team.
we haven't seen.
New team this year.
Team.
One of the few Ford teams that are out there.
We might have to dissect that one. Josh Bilicki in the number in the 07 with SS Greenlight. I feel like Bilicki is always a good option here for a track like this. Gio Ruggiero and with JGR, the number 19. Carson Ware, the number 30 with Barrett Cope Racing, another newer name there. Jordan Anderson, of course, in the number 32 with Jordan Anderson Racing. We talked about that option. Natalie Decker. I'm not familiar with Natalie Decker, number 35 at Joey Gase Motorsports. Patrick Emmerling, number 38 with RSS Racing. There's a familiar name. Familiar, but maybe not such a great option at times. Carson Hocevar, this is one of the bigger ones, the number 42 with Young's Motorsports. He's going to get it. I feel like some of these names, it's almost like keep an eye out for them for track time, and they could potentially, have a great cup day. Maybe not, maybe a little bit of an underwhelming option in some of these other circuits. Who knows? We'll see. But again, all the randomness, so don't gravitate towards these names, in my opinion. Daniel Dye in the number 52 with AM Racing. David Starr in the number 53 with Joey Gase Motorsports. Joey Gase in the number 55 with Joey Gase Motorsports. Raja Karuth in the number 88 with JRM. That's going to be an interesting ride to watch. And then Mason Maggio in the number 91 with DGM Racing.
Yeah, a lot of interesting names that you mentioned there. We got some brand new teams there, Hettinger Racing and Barrett Cope Racing. Barrett Cope Racing in particular, you said you don't know where that team is from. That's actually the Cope family racing team from last year, that number 70 car. They just have some new partners with them, so they got a new number.
Renamed a little bit. Okay. Cool.
Gio Ruggiero in the number 19 JGR is going to be a very interesting name.
Yeah.
I mean, considering that he got his first career Truck Series win on a super speedway, yeah, that's going to be very interesting to watch right there.
He came out of nowhere last year. I feel like that's a name that has quickly risen in the ranks here. I feel like.
Oh yeah, he's going to be in the first 2 races in that number 19 car, and then Brent Cruz is going to be taking over for almost every race after that. Once he basically turns 18. He's still 17. He's going to be turning 18 in March. And basically from there, yeah, Brent Cruz is doing 29 of the 33 races in that 19 car for this season.
Oh, you're on mute or something.
Yeah, Rich, you're muted.
Do not sleep on that young man. If I could have used them last year for betting, because I didn't realize this, we can't bet on them. They aren't getting the lines because they were too young.
Oh, yeah.
So we couldn't always use them for DFS and all these other things because they were underage. That's probably why Corey Day laughed at me. He said, "Bro, I owe you some money. You helped me out in NASCAR." Poor guy, probably barely old enough to bet.
Yeah, there you go.
By the way, Jaime is locked in. It's official. It's always
nice.
Heim time.
Oh, it is Heim time. Heim time, Daytona 500 time. That's going to be his first start in the 500.
This is what's so tangent here. What is wrong with NASCAR is Corey Heim is a perfect example. Because he doesn't necessarily have the money that Riley Herbst does with his dad's connection to Monster, or the nepotism connections that somebody like Ty Gibbs has, which he has earned it. I'm not trying to say he hasn't. Heim did what? Finished top 10 at Bristol in a one-off ride. Has now officially qualified on time because he's better than all the other. There's no one else can get ahead of him on time except for one guy. So he's locked in. And this dude does not have a full-time ride. And us peons, have been saying it for 3 years.
Well,
I
hopefully
don't have a
next year is the year that finally changes that, Rich. I mean, we basically, I don't know if you heard about Denny Hamlin's comments earlier. I think it was like last week or so. He said that basically that 35 team has to improve or else they're going to make some changes.
Better get off the pot because it's about to be Heim Talkers.
There you go. An O'Reilly race for the seat? Yeah, I could see that too, William. I could see that as well. But
I actually think he's going to go right to Cup. I think the transition from trucks to Cup, we've seen it with Zane Smith. We've seen it with Carson Hocevar. I think that it's almost like rookie quarterback starting now. It's a trend. That there's enough. This new car overlaps more with the trucks than it does the Xfinity, that I think most of these teams and financial backers are like, soon as there's a Cup opportunity. And I tell you what, Alex Bowman also better poop or get off the pot, because I wouldn't put it past Mr. Rick Hendrick to poach a Toyota driver to put him in a Chevy. That dude has deep enough pockets. He can make it happen.
He's done it before.
Uh-huh.
Let's not forget, William Byron was once on the Toyota track, and then he poached him. And we know how good William Byron is now.
Yep.
So,
yep.
There you go.
He has no problem. Well, he poached Jeff Gordon. If you go back and look, Jeff Gordon had a contract with someone else. He goes, who is that guy? We need him.
Yeah, with Ford at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So just to put a bow on the O'Reilly Auto Parts series, that's another series where there's going to be some drivers going home because there's 42 entries for 38 spots. 4 drivers on open teams are going to be going home. Keep that in mind. Now, for the Cup Series, we're seeing it firsthand through qualifying here, but I'll just read off the names of the notables and part-timers here. We got Chandler Smith in the number 36 for Front Row Motorsports. Justin Allgaier is in the number 40 for Junior Motorsports. JJ Yaley's in the number 44 for NY Racing. Anthony Alfredo's in the 62 for Beard Motorsports. Casey Mears is in the number 66 for Garage 66. Well, the guy that just made it in, Corey Heim, is in the number 67 for 2311 Racing. That's a 4th 2311 entry right there. BJ McLeod's in the number 78 for Live Fast Motorsports. Jimmy Johnson is back in the 84 for Legacy Motor Club. And then Corey LaJoy is in the number 99 for RFK Racing. So we mentioned it earlier, 4 drivers will be going home. There's 45 total entries for the 500 this week. So that's that.
Tell you what, if he makes the event, and I think he will, that's another guy I think we need to really consider building around depending on where he starts.
Oh, Corey LaJoy? Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely think that's a name we got.
I mean, look, RFK is going to be fast. Priest is still second on the speed chart. Kyle Busch is first for what it's worth, which is interesting because RCR cars typically don't qualify very well here, but they always have race speed. So that's interesting to see. LaJoy's right now, he's pushing for 10th place. He's pushing for 10th on the cutoff. We've had about 20 drivers so far. So the speed's there, and he's been a knack at these tracks. Sean, you about made a bunch of people real wealthy pushing Corey LaJoy.
Yeah, or even you mentioned Ryan Preece, me pushing Ryan Preece all year last
season, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Top 10, him and Busher, Mr. Top 10s.
Might as well call RFK the top 10 organization right there.
Right.
I feel like LaJoy, it's like here and
LaJoy was 5th. So LaJoy was the last guy to need to be timed. So Justin Allgaier and Corey Heim are now locked in.
Nice. I like Allgaier too. That's another one. Another
William's
low price
saying I'm
option.
wrong, but everything I read said they're locked in on time now. Because I don't know who else. No, because there's only 5 cars that had to qualify on time, and they were 4 cars, and they were Heim, Allgaier, LaJoy, and Chandler Smith.
Oh, not locked in until the second round of qualifiers goes in.
Oh.
That was only just the first round of qualifiers.
I got you. Yeah, but there's still only 5 open teams.
Yeah, but there's still some in the second round that have to run. Just to make it official.
Well, just one. No, there isn't any because you said Jimmy's on a provisional. See, I have it on mute, William. So can you feel free to educate me? But if there's 45 entries, 41 cars make the field. There's 4 cars that. Oh no, there's 36 charters. So technically, there's 8 cars.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. So there's got to be at least Alfredo was one here. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 have gone. Seven open teams have already put down times.
Yeah, so we need to get the rest of those. We need to get at least 2 more of them in the books in order to have people officially locked in.
I don't know. 7.
Let's see. You got Chandler Smith, Justin Allgaier, JJ Yaley, Anthony
I
Alfredo,
think all 8 have run.
Casey Mears, Corey Heim, BJ McLeod, and then Corey LaJoy.
So they've all run. That's what I'm saying. I think all the open teams have already put down times.
Here's an interesting fact. We've got between Corey LaJoy, John Hunter Nemechek, 9 races, 0 DNFs between those two.
Are you serious, Mark? Don't be jinxing, Mark.
Since February of 2023, I should throw that out as a caveat.
Okay, well, that's a fair caveat, though. We're still going back 3 years. That's kind of our window when you're doing 2 races a year, I think, as far as relevant data, right? Interesting. Because Nemechek is sitting 7th right now.
But, dude, you know what? I mean, maybe we throw it all out the window because what happens? I'm actually curious to ask you guys this. With the horsepower increase, how does that impact the cars on a super speedway? Is that going to have an impact?
No impact because the rule doesn't affect super speedways in particular,
okay.
Mark.
Okay.
We treat them exactly like last year.
Perfect. So, like on the short, would you say on the short tracks, though, it's the most impactful?
The horsepower change rules are only going into effect on tracks that are less than 1.5 miles and road courses officially.
Okay. Oh, the road courses, and then we got that one in San Diego, right?
Yeah, that's later on in the season, but where the first race where it is going to make an impact is in 2 weeks at COTA.
Right.
Nice.
So it won't have any impact here. And here's the real kicker, Mark. I don't think we're going to get away from the 50% throttle we've seen the last few years at these tracks, unfortunately. The biggest change we're going to see at these tracks, hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe we don't see as much dumb driving at all, like total, but then we really don't see much of it until the very, very end. And then even then, I'm thinking, the drivers in the top 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 spots, you might see, get aggressive, make moves, but I don't think you're going to see somebody back in 10th just hang it all out there and say, I'm putting the pedal to the floor and I'm not lifting until I see God or the checkers. I don't think you're going to see that.
But then again, we have Carson Hocevar still that we have.
He still may do that. And he's still that's a valid point, Mark. If he's in 4th or 5th, then somebody is definitely putting their foot to the floor and not stopping until they see God or checkers. So
it's almost like in his professional career, all he's known at this point. So it's almost like it might be hard to get out of that mindset in the moment.
I mean, the NASCAR fandom's calling him the Hurricane at this point. So,
yep.
There you go.
Lee Diffie, as much as I don't like Lee Diffie calling races, that nickname I gotta give him mad props for. Hurricane Hocevar's a good one. But I gotta tell you, Sean, it's not like he looks any different than Ernie Irvin or Dale Sr. or Steve Park or even Joey Logano when he was coming up. Remember when I'm done being pushed around? I mean, I think what it is he's young. And he's got speed and he's pushing people out of the way. And the old timers are like, it's kind of like traveling in basketball. Okay, LeBron, you've earned that right now. 20 some years ago, you had, right? Kind of the same thing.
Yeah, truly. Let's start getting into our picks and breaking down some of the drivers for the Cup race, guys. What do you say? Let's get into our top price picks to watch right here. So...
I'm not even like I told Fensty on his show today. The only way I would use any of the top 3 price drivers is if they start in the back, and I think they're chalky. There is no way I'm going to go, look, I love Denny Hamlin. I'm not chasing him with a plus 9 to 1 bet. He's the favorite in all the books I've seen. I'm also not throwing Willie Byron into lineups. I mean, he's won back-to-back. To win 3 in a row would be really impressive. And at $10,000, it'd be so rare.
Very
Mark,
rare.
Sure,
it's
like,
never
happened.
Before.
I would say it's never happened. So, if somebody wants to, Brad's with a cane. So,
yeah, because Brad's dealing with that leg injury he suffered in the off season.
I wanted to run that by you guys because it's like, could that impact how he's racing? How aggressive he is, especially with the new format?
I don't think it changes the aggression standpoint because once the helmet goes on, they all get stupid. And they'll admit that to you, Mark. I mean, it's you know what it's like playing football, right? You get going and the adrenaline's going and you don't even realize what you hit, what you did hit. And then after the game, you're like, holy crap, where did that bruise come from? I don't even remember it type of thing. I'm more worried about what happens when we get to Coda and he needs to use both legs. Here, not going to be much of an issue, right? Like they'll ride the brake a little bit with that left foot, but they don't have to do much pressure. All they're doing there is bringing up a car for a bump draft. They're not really doing much, but you go to Coda, he's going to be doing a lot with both feet, right? So that's the one I'm kind of curious about and worried about. But I'm with you, Will. I saw him with the cane. I'm like, that just looks weird. And he has a noticeable limp. Like you can tell the leg is not well, man, because he's walking and the one leg looks normal. The other one's like, aw.
He's dragging it. Yeah.
It's weird looking.
You should be glad that Daytona and Atlanta are the first 2 races of the year. So
good, bad, right? Because the worst place is most likely to crash, but at the same time, the least amount of work he's got to do with his feet, right? But to answer your question, and I'm not trying to cop out, Sean, I'm not chasing any of the top scoring guys. Really? Austin Cindric at 9,500, Bubba Wallace at 9,100. That's probably my max spend. And again, this is all dependent on qualifying. Yeah. If Byron ends up wrecking tomorrow night and starts 35th, I'm going to spend the 10 grand and use him.
And he's going to be chalk city from there.
Yep. Same thing with Blaney. We saw it with Blaney at Dega, wasn't it? Dega. It was.
I believe it was Dega.
Everybody, he was. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, no, I mean, I think the conversation to be had though is okay. So someone like Kyle Larson, he starts in the back. Are we still considering that a slam dunk lock in your lineup? Because now we've got someone with a high number of DNFs on super speedways.
I'm locking him in because of his recent history at the super speedways. The last 2 years, he has shown me he can finish the race. And he's shown he can finish in the top 3 to top 5. I would, because in my opinion, I don't think he's chalk, Mark. If that happens, I'm hoping everybody has that same memory, and I'm going to use him hoping he's only 20-some% owned. Because if I remember correctly, Blaney in that race, Sean, was somewhere like 77% owned. It was like such a stupid number. It was I almost wanted to fade after the fact. I was like, I wish I just would have faded him on the simple cause of if something happened to him, my God, 3/4 of the lineups are dead.
Yeah. I mean, really, when it comes towards, you talk about William Byron, you talk about Ryan Blaney, you talk about Kyle Larson. I think out of those 3, if you mention them in front of people that know NASCAR and know this kind of track, they're not going to start Kyle Larson on this kind of track as much as the other 2. And the thing is, though, is that Larson's been trending upward on the finishes on these types of tracks. And I think he's starting to come around for me as far as the likability factor a little bit on these tracks, especially if he qualifies inside the 20s, he starts in the 20s. I think that is a great sweet spot for me to utilize Larson because not as much people are going to be on him. And I do think that he has potential in order to finish top 15, top 10, no problem right there.
All right, so then you take it with a different type of driver in Logano, another higher priced option who wants to barrel towards the front. I feel like if Logano starts 11th, then he is much more desirable than if he starts in the back. It's like almost a different conversation because of the different type of driver.
With Logano, I'm only starting him if he starts in the back. He's too much of a
really.
for me to really
Yeah,
like.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I can understand the angle of he runs up front enough that you could potentially chase the lead laps and all of that. But I remember I was talking about it last year or the year before, Mark. I'm willing to bet my nutsack that Joey Logano, no matter where he starts, will find his way to the front in short order at that race. And I will bet an appendage of your choice that whether he wrecks or not, he will set the most aggressive blocks halfway through that race running from that spot. And so I'm kind of with Sean. It's boom or bust with Joey. So you have to look, if you're going to use Joey in a lineup, he can work if he starts near the front because he's going to be contrarian. No one's going to use him starting up front, and he can get you lead laps and all that sort of stuff and finish well. If he starts in the back, you don't have to worry about him wrecking everybody because you're not going to lose. He's going to be chalky, and you're not going to lose the negative points, right? So for me, it's boom or bust lineup. If I do a Joey Logano lineup, I am 100% doing at least 1, 2, or 3 other lineups without Joey because my bet is made with that Joey lineup, in my opinion. Yeah. He is either going to be a big scorer or he's bringing you back with negative points. Like, I don't think there's a lot of variance in between.
Now, if we're talking about Joey Logano for the dual races, however, I do like him much better in that setting.
That's different. For the dual races, he's almost kind of a lock, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing to notice about Joey Logano. Each of the last 4 Daytona races, he's led at least 27 laps in each of them, and 3 of those times is over 30 laps. Guess what his best finish in those last 4 races were? 27th. 4 straight Daytona races, 27th or worse.
He wrecked it all, didn't he?
He wrecked in 3 out of the 4.
Yeah, he's got a lot of that. That's kind of my thing. Is it's like almost like, is he too aggressive if he's coming all the way from the back? Whereas if he starts somewhere like 10th, maybe he kind of slowly. Well, maybe he barrels towards the front at the beginning still, but then he can be a little bit more conservative once he gets in the front.
And keep this in mind about Joey. The last 4 races at Daytona, top 10 starting position every time.
My fear with Joey, Mark, it's not him barreling through the field too aggressive. I would say if I'm worried about that, hosts of our Stenhouse are the guys that come to mind in that regard. Okay? Joey won't do anything coming through the pack to do that. Where Joey is dangerous, I'm being dead serious when I've said I've never seen anybody block 3 lanes of traffic with one car like he does. I've watched this sport a long time, and I do not know of and people. If you guys got those in the chat and everything else, you can send videos and image. I will eat crow. But my opinion, I have never seen anybody be more aggressive with blocks than Joey Logano. Like, none. Dale Jr. wasn't this aggressive with better cars with the blocks. Jr. had a car with this bubble that he could kind of direct traffic with. He wasn't this aggressive. I have never seen somebody go from up against the wall all the way down to the apron to block 2 lanes like Joey Logano does. And in all fairness to Joey, he makes it work 88% of the time, which if we're betting, 88% is pretty freaking good. But there's 500 laps or 500 miles. If he only makes it 88% of the miles, it doesn't do us any good. So, Mark, if you want to take him in the back, I would wholeheartedly say you're fine. Where you have to be worried about Joey, once he's in the top 5, forget about it. That's when my butt puckers up if I have him in a lineup.
Yeah. And I'm just saying right now, I only have one Penske driver within my top price picks. That's Ryan Blaney. He's the driver from that organization that I trust, if anybody, in order to do well in this particular event.
And see, I'm on the other side because I'm going with the value. I want the cheapest Penske guy. Give me Cindric. I don't like Cindric on FanDuel because he's too high priced. On DraftKings, he's down in the Bubba Wallace neighborhood. I can play in that neighborhood. Yeah. You know?
I don't mind Cindric. I do like Cindric better than Logano. I think Cindric is at least playable, but Blaney's been just better overall in general.
He has been good. I don't knock the Blaney pick because I did debate it, Sean. I just went with the cheaper option is kind of where I'm at. But I'm with you. And honestly, if we really want the cheapest Penske car, look down the ways a little bit to the Wood Brothers and the 21 and Josh Berry.
Yeah, there is that too. Josh Berry, that's not a bad call out right there. Let me just mention my other top price picks right here too. So I got 2 Hendrick right there, but it is site specific. If I'm going with DraftKings, I think Chase Elliott is quite underrated and one to watch right here. And for FanDuel, that's where I want my William Byron action right there. So give me some Byron on FanDuel. And then you mentioned my last one earlier, Rich, Bubba Wallace. He's another one driver that I'm really high on this week as well. Historically, he's very fast on these tracks. Finishes pretty well here too, generally, most of the time. Top 20, top 15s. I mean, even if it's just those kinds of finishes, I want to have some consistency when I'm making my driver picks. And all 4 of these guys have some proven consistency that I like.
Yeah, I went ahead. I pulled the trigger on Austin Cindric, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Busch. We talked about Cindric a little bit. I threw out Hamlin just for, I mean, if you're going to play someone on a narrative, this is probably the type of week to do it, especially the first week of the season, given everything with Hamlin. So it's almost like something to root for. I mean, again, really have to throw a lot of the data out when it comes to super speedways to a certain degree. Kyle Busch, I felt like was kind of on the upswing towards the end of last season. So he's got solid data overall on the track. Obviously not so great as of recent, but for me, $8,800, that's, the lowest you can really get in that top tier. So, again, if we're looking to leave 1,200, 1,500, 2,500 on the table, guys like that and flooding your lineup with the lower end of the top tier might be the play, depending on where they qualify. But again, to the point of what we've been saying this whole time, it's really hard to determine any legitimate options or options we feel incredibly good at for the main race tonight, because there's so much that's going to happen between now and then.
Yeah. Regarding the rest of the drivers you mentioned, I think Cindric is pretty playable. I do like the Kyle Busch call quite a bit there, Mark. He was somebody I was considering as well within this price range. The one that I'm not fully on board with yet is Denny Hamlin, believe it or not. Historically, you look towards the last 10 races on drafting tracks, 8 of those finishes were outside of the top 20. He only has 2 top 10s in the other instances. So on this particular style of racing, Hamlin used to be the driver in order to watch because he used to be really good at this kind of racing. But I think he's lost touch a little bit as far as finishing with a good position. But if he qualifies further back, I'm a little more into it. But at this time, not really that excited about it.
I don't understand why he's the favorite in all the books. That's the part that gets me. I understand he's been very good at him. And even those, and Sean, if we look at those, he hasn't finished one of those events. Some of those where he was running very well. The one, if I remember correctly, was a fuel pickup issue. Another one, he got caught up in the big one. But I just don't get how he's like literally the only, like you go to the books and he's the only one under 1,000, which is weird. Yeah. Because if you look at Xfinity and trucks, they're all at 1,000 or more.
And that's kind of almost why I like him as a DFS play, because we talk about diversifying our bets, especially in a place like this. If we're going to play a little DFS, we're also going to do a little betting. Don't bet on Denny Hamlin, but maybe throw him in a DFS lineup to get a little bit of exposure. So that's kind of my thought process, and just throwing him out there at this point, just because of the sheer fact that I'm probably not going to be placing bets on him. And I know there's a great narrative out there. And why are the books making him the favorite? Is it just because of the narrative?
Right.
Right. So, and maybe there's something to that narrative. Like maybe there is something that the media is pushing because they know about X, Y, and Z behind closed doors. So that, and then all of a sudden they start talking about on the broadcast for an hour straight, for the entire race.
Yeah, I mean, the narrative would, if I'm going to think about any reason to play Denny, that would be it. I mean, Denny's going for his 4th Daytona 500 win, which not many drivers can say they've actually won 4 Daytona 500.
That's where the books are coming from. That's where the books are coming from, because the odds of Byron going three in a row are so small. Somebody's got to do it, right? The narrative with Hamlin and the story and the fire and everything else, and it's been all of those things. Okay, so now Heim and Allgaier are locked in. Both of them made it into the top 10. LaJoie is 11th, so he won't make it to the knockout round. And just so you guys know, your top 3 qualifying times, Kyle Busch, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Preece. Oh, 4th, by the way, was Kyle Larson.
Ooh, Larson being high up there. Interesting.
And that might be, that's a great transition to the mid-tier, because for me, Chase Briscoe just is I feel like just continuing where he left off at last year. And this was someone who was stellar with, making sure that he had fuel. He was great with his tires last year, probably the best of anyone when it came to tire management and fuel saving. So on a track like this, like, give me Chase Briscoe at $7,900. I feel like that, especially given maybe some of those results today, I think that should be an interesting option.
I like the Chase
I'm with you on Briscoe. I'm with you on Briscoe. My only fear is he was going to start too close to up front. In my opinion, he is probably the best. Ty Gibbs is up there, in all fairness to Ty Gibbs, but I think Briscoe and Gibbs are actually the best drafting track drivers at Joe Gibbs right now. And I know we just
with you, I think you're forgetting somebody right there, Rich.
Bell struggles, in my opinion, man. There's a reason he's priced where he's at. I think he's an undervalued price point, and we should consider him. But there's a reason he has not done well at these tracks either.
I'm still going to say don't sleep on Bell. He's actually one of my mid-tier picks right here. And
I have him in my mid-tier because he's priced so wrong. I totally agree. But, I mean, you're going to know these better than I do, Sean. What's he been at this track lately?
So I was looking back towards the results since 2023. Bell has the 7th best average finish, and that includes some part-timers that aren't even racing in Cup this week, and Kevin Harvick, who's retired. So if you wanted to bump him up to maybe 4th best right there, I mean, the only drivers in the field that have a better average finish at Daytona since 2023 than Bell is Buescher, Allgaier, who's in an open car and only has 1 start, and John Hunter Nemechek right there. So that right there, Bell's been kind of consistent, and he won on a drafting track last year at Atlanta too, and he has a knack for finishing pretty solidly on these kinds of tracks lately. He even looked towards the last 5 races, 3 of those finishes on drafting tracks were 13th or better.
True. But all right, so he had 13th at the second Daytona. Now, maybe he's figured something out, Sean, because if you go back, Daytona last year, 31st. Then he did win Atlanta. And then the next time they were at Atlanta, he ended up in the bottom 20s or ended up 30th again. Seems to me he may be boom or bust.
He won at Atlanta last year, the first Atlanta race.
Yeah, and he also got 30th too.
Yeah, then the second one. But second Daytona race, 13th. Last
that's
race
what
at
I'm
Talladega,
saying.
8th.
It seems boom or bust to me.
But still, even the finishing positions is still more consistent than a lot of the other guys out there. I got to give some credit to Bell here.
That's fair. I'm just saying, I'm not sure he's the best drafting driver they have.
But even so, he's at least getting the results that some of these guys aren't getting, which I think speaks volume to it too.
But in all fairness, Sean, 7th best. Sean, there's only 38. I mean, so that's top 25%. I mean, that's not. Now, to your point, though, going back 2 years ago, he was 3rd at Daytona to start off the year. 34th coming back to Atlanta. Talladega, 38th. Like I said, it's boom or bust. And just me personally, I don't like the averages. They get skewed.
They are. They're getting thrown off too by the duels too, I think. But no, I mean, here's the thing we probably all can agree on is if you want to run out a Denny Hamlin narrative, a JGR stack might be the way to go, because you can get Ty Gibbs at $7,100. You can get Chase Briscoe at $7,900. You can do anything with your lineup with those 2 price point drivers. And obviously we don't need to max out our lineup for a race like this. But
can we get this pricing for an intermediate track, please?
Oh, that would be a lot of fun. And you know what? I will give you that. And I can agree with you there that a JGR stack is not a bad idea. The Toyotas generally don't always do the best in qualifying on these particular kinds of tracks, so they don't always start up front, unless your name is Chase Briscoe, in which case, forget that right there.
Dude, and he's still doing it this year, man. That's the first thing I noticed was like, even at a drafting track, the MFer is still top 2 in time. Like, I mean, and Sean, to be fair to your point, I do think Bell was a guy I had highlighted and talked about in the article too, because you're right. I think he is. I don't know why his price point and odds, both of them are off. His odds did move to the right direction, went from 22 to 1 to 20 to 1. But I guess if it's on par with Briscoe, I guess I can see the book's argument. Same team, same equipment. Briscoe's been as good lately. I don't know. Look, here's the bottom line, and I think we can all agree on this. There's only so much we can do post-qualifying and pre-qualifying and pre the duels. We're going to be chasing place differential. And Chase Briscoe we may love, but if he starts third, are you guys going to lock him into your lineups? I'm going to be hesitant too. I can't do it.
Very hesitant right there.
Now, Denny Hamlin starts 25th. I have a real hard time sitting him.
He'll be 60, 70% owned too. And it's like, you can't even, that's the other point. It's like, then a guy becomes so high owned that even if he does jack his car up halfway through the race, everyone's going to own him. It's like a free square.
Right. It's free square. Christopher Bell starts 20th. I'm going to have a hard time not using him, Sean. At that price point, the team, I'm expecting a top 5 finish. At the very least, I may even put him in my lineup and still chase a top 10, top 5 bet in something like that.
Here's my other thing about Bell. When you think about the drivers from Gibbs who you think is going to do best on a drafting track, Christopher Bell is not going to be the first name you think of. So I think regardless of that, I think he's going to have low ownership compared to some of the other guys there. You got Briscoe stealing the headlines with his speed. You got Denny Hamlin with the history based on his wins right there. Bell, he's been more quiet compared to the other two right there. So I think we got to keep that in mind there.
And you know who I want? You didn't even name him. Give me Ty Gibbs. He has been really good at these tracks in Xfinity and trucks. And to your point, Sean, no one's talking about him. Everyone thinks he's just a nepotism baby that wrecks, right? So, interesting.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs, I can get behind that too, actually.
That's it. I had Gibbs, Briscoe, and Buescher in my mid-tier.
Love it.
Buescher, again, Mr. Top 10. It's like, I think you guys were even, I might want to say on him a little bit last week.
Yeah, we all were on Buescher looking back on our picks right here. So, I mean, that shouldn't come as a surprise. Buescher is one of the most consistent names on this style of racing, bar none, and he's in an RFK car. Those cars are going to be real bad fast right there. Speaking of my other picks, I have a FanDuel specific pick here with Alex Bowman. Even though I think he's going to be fine on DraftKings as well, he's another driver that has had some solid history of finishes on this style of racing. And then one other name that we haven't really talked about that is on my picks list. We always say he's a very sneaky option right here. Eric Jones. Give me some Legacy Motor Club love here.
Love it. Denny's on the track now. I tell you what, for my mid-tier picks, Bell is fine. I got no problem with it. But give me Priest, give me Buescher, give me Hocevar. That's the world I want to live in.
I don't really have any arguments right there. Hocevar may be a little wild, but I think actually Hocevar could work out though.
I agree. He's the wild card of the bunch. And honestly, Bell, Hocevar, big price difference, not huge, but big enough. I could go either way. And again, qualifying kind of dependent.
That's an interesting one. We're all on Buescher, though.
Well, he's Mr. Top 10, and RFK's run well here. He's run well. Look, Buescher and Daniel Hemrick to me on these tracks are almost like my automatic squares. I have a hard time not using them because they just have a knack for like not wrecking and finishing 7th. Like it's to your point you talked about earlier, Mark, about a guy that goes 11th to 4th, doesn't make headlines, not sexy. But for our DFS purposes, it's a money square, right?
1 win, 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s. every single race in the last 6 races in the top 20, no DNFs. So it's like, and like, I would not be surprised if the DFS community is not like touting him or on him hard in any capacity. Like I would not be surprised if he is less than 20% owned, maybe even less than 15.
Yeah, I do think that that's certainly very plausible right there. Definitely loving Buescher, though. I mean, if you want to talk about the RFK drivers, Buescher's my favorite of the 3 this week.
And to your guys' point,
Mine's
Priest. Oh my God. I mean, Priest has been, what a trajectory. I feel like all of last year just crushes it. And then last week, gets the short track. So the one thing I wanted to point out was the Legacy Motor Club element of this. And I think this conversation is going to continue into the lower tier, but
You're darn right it is, Mark.
Eric Jones, John Hunter Nemechek. Like, how many times last year? I feel like I made a fortune last year. I think my biggest hit last year had this combo between these two, both in the lineup, because these guys go under-owned and they just provide value points after value points, race after race.
One of the reasons I want the villain hero thing to come back to NASCAR so bad, to me, none of them are villains. I've met too many of these guys off the track and know too much of their history to know that they're all good people, that it's the line, right? Like how things are edited, if you will, right?
Yeah.
People don't pick them. They don't use them for DFS. People cannot separate their emotions and feelings from the contest like you do, Mark, like you do, Sean, like I try to do. So for me, I love the fact that people hate John Hunter Nemechek. It's like they forgot everybody used to love his dad. Front Row Joe was his dad's nickname. And they gave him that nickname, Mark, because he constantly qualified up front. One year he had a whole bunch of pole qualifyings. He didn't race all that well. I don't even know if he got a win. Did he have one win, Sean? I feel like
he has one before, actually.
Yeah. But he didn't win much, but they used to call him Front Row Joe. And everybody loved Joe Nemechek. You will not find anybody in that garage that speaks negative about him. John Hunter comes around, and he's not as vanilla as his dad. Has a little bit more of a chip on his shoulder. People hate him. Same thing with Ty Gibbs. And so I'm like, hate him. I hope you guys hate him, because that's just easy pickings for the rest of us that aren't emotional about it.
I mean, John Hunter Nemechek, back-to-back top 10s in this specific event. And then, in the fall races, 17th and 15th. So in the top 20, we're talking about place differential. That's like 10 plus positions for each of those races. His average start is 23 and average finish is 11th. So it's like, dude, fire him up, man. It's like you said, pair him up with an Eric Jones who, probably does pretty good managing his tires on a track like this. And these guys can kind of work together to just gather place differential and slowly but surely keep you in it.
Yeah. Let's segue into the potential sleepers and values while we're at it here, because we all have JHN.
Covered them. I'll hit it real quick. I, of course, have JSN. I have Todd Gilliland, who I've already been, toting, and then Corey Hahn. Now, I understand with the qualifying, things might change a little bit, but here's the honest to God's truth. I will likely have 4 to 5 guys out of this tier for my lineups.
Yeah. Yeah. Because a lot more of them are going to be likely to start in the back.
Michael McDowell, who I saw Sean had on his list. Sorry, Sean, didn't mean to steal your thunder, because now they know you had Michael McDowell and John Hunter. But Michael McDowell was almost on my list. So there is legit. And here's the interesting thing that I think this race lets us do. At the lower dollar values, we can afford to be contrarian. Say Todd Gilliland, after the duels, ends up starting 6th. I'm okay spending that $5,900 on him, because I'm hoping, one, like you said, the DFS people are off because they're going to chase the place differential, which I'm still going to chase. But to your point, if I can get a guy, even if he loses 2 points at 5,900, if he finishes in the top 10, you've educated me on this, Mark. He's still a viable play. Nobody's going to want him because he lost 2 spots, but they're not looking at it from the cost perspective. Now, you could argue we don't have to worry about the cost perspective because at Daytona, we're going to leave $15,000 out there. That's true, but you still are going to have to be contrarian to win a tournament. You could split all you want. So I happen to like some of these potential sleeper values, even if they qualify well. If Corey Heim ends up in the top 10, man, that means no one else is going to pick him. He's probably going to be 8% owned. F it. I'm using him. I'll use him.
I'll tell you right now, take it even one step further. It gets more granular than that. Like I was looking at last week in the short track, and it's like guys who go from 4th to 6th score more points than guys who go from 18th to 12th. Like it's weird how that works out. Yeah.
Oh, because of the point system.
Yeah. So it's I just pay attention to that because to your point, I mean, that's a huge point to make. Yeah. A lot of people overlook the guys that get negative place differential, but again, if their price point is 5,800, they're likely going to be still pretty low owned and probably pay off more than most of the guys priced above them.
I've preached that before in the some of our Discord chats there, Mark, that people are kind of just not looking to start drivers that start towards the front that are some of these value guys, and comes back to bite them when the value guys still end up in the top 10 right there, or even like 11th or 12th. Still pays off quite well, even more than some of the other drivers and bigger names that they do trust more.
If you really want to get different, leave a bunch of money on the table and also go after guys that start towards the front. That's still, I'm not saying that is suggested, but I'm just saying it's suggested to get different. And that's one way to do it.
Yeah. And to your point, Mark, mine will be a hybrid. I'll have that. I will absolutely have a couple of guys that start inside the top 10, top 15. And then it's chasing place differential all the way around. And I've taken some of the heart. I talked about this. John can back me up. I talked about this on the coaching stream or the podcast the other day. It was John. I'm sorry, it was Finstey's show. How you taught me to avoid the chalk, the high-end chalk in football and basketball and that stuff. Eating the high-end chalk in NASCAR has worked.
Yeah.
And
it's reverse.
It is. And ever since you kind of taught me that, I have had so much more success with my lineups, Mark. And I don't know if it's because I've always fished for those potential sleepers and I like to get different there. But now I force myself to do it, right? Because I'm just going to go ahead and eat the chalk, even though I want to be different. And I'm going to be different from everybody else. I'm going to tap into, well, who are the low-end guys that nobody else likes that I like, right? If I can hit on those, and I've had better success hitting on those where in the past I felt like I was missing more. I think it's because I wasn't looking at it from a differentiation standpoint. How to be different, but not making poor decisions, if that makes sense.
And this week, it is the drivers that you won't play at any other point in the season. It's the Casey Mears. It's the Joey Gase, like BJ freaking McLeod. Those are the guys that are going to go less than 5% owned, who have a much higher probability of paying off for your lineup than, the value play. And I mean, here's the thing. We talked about John Hunter Nemechek. There's a very good chance that he does end up being a chalky kind of lower tier option, depending on how this weekend goes. Ricky Stenhouse, wouldn't be shocked if Ricky Stenhouse is relatively high owned. And I don't know if I want any piece of that given the DNF history. Ricky, although he's gotten better at it, Ricky Stenhouse kind of scares me this week, especially if we're going to see ownership.
And the thing is you're gonna see ownership because I don't think he's going to qualify very well. Well, here again, we won't know for the duels. He may be racing in the duels because he's been good at these tracks. He's almost like Joey Logano light.
Yeah, Joey Logano if he was a little bit more control than some of his moves.
But my philosophy is if Ricky Stenhouse is 25% plus owned, I'm out on him.
Fair.
This week.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense to me, Mark. And I tell you what, if let's just pretend he starts where he qualified today, he's going to be 57% owned because he currently is in the back 30 some spots. He's like 35th-ish or so right now. So I can guarantee you if he were to start there because he has won at these tracks before, he's known as kind of about this is the only place he runs well. I guarantee you, Mark, he will be super high chalk. And because of how you were describing that, that's the first thing I noted myself was like, that's going to be my first fade if he ends up in the back. Normally I use him, but he's going to be my fade if he ends up in the back.
So let's bring up the tougher conversation to have, because we all feel pretty good about going into this Todd Gilliland. We see high ownership on a guy like Todd Gilliland. Still eating it? I feel like you kind of have to, because you have to trust your gut and what you initially felt, right? I mean,
I have a hard time not eating that stock.
Yeah, I like Todd Gilliland enough that I think I'd eat it almost regardless, unless he's just starting like second or something. But even then, I remember there was an exact situation at a drafting track where he did start in the second position and still ended up in the top 10. So
I almost hope he runs well enough tomorrow that he scares people off of ownership. Because if he starts in the back at his price point, I think people are going to be on him.
I'm with you on that. Qualify well.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's not forget about the equipment factor with some of these guys too. We know that Front Row Motorsports, they got some high-end Ford connections right there too. I believe they share some of the same equipment as Penske does. Like, not the top-end Penske equipment, but still, it's Penske equipment regardless right there too.
They said they considered themselves tier 2 last year. Remember? That's what they said, that Penske was basically tier 1 and they consider themselves tier 2.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too about Front Row. I think Front Row as a team is going to be more focused this year because they don't have a pressure of a lawsuit behind them either.
True. Well, we should probably round these up because I think we've gone longer than we thought. So, Sean, hit us with your thoughts on your sleepers, even though I stole 2 of them from you.
Well, technically, all 3 of them have been mentioned now at this point. We talked about Todd Gilliland. We talked about John Hunter. The only one we didn't really talk about that much was Michael McDowell. And I like Michael McDowell a lot because, well, he's also been a driver that's been historically solid on this style of racing. And that even extends towards last year. He's one of only a very, very short list of drivers to finish in the top 20 in every single drafting track race last year.
And 2 years ago, he got robbed of a win by Joey Logano, if I remember correctly.
It's funny because I remember when he did finally break through to get that Daytona 500 victory. Who did he end up running into to get it? Joey Logano.
Joey Logano, yeah.
So, yeah, I like all 3 of these guys a lot right here. And McDowell, I think, is sneaky because I think people don't pay as much attention to him as much, too. Especially when you even compare him to the other Spire drivers. The one stealing the headlines, of course, is Carson Hocevar. McDowell is more quiet and kind of focused. I like that.
And, Mark, who did you have? Because I don't think you went through your list.
Well, we overlapped with JHN. Todd Gilliland. I will say Corey LaJoie I had on my list as well. And we talked about him earlier at the beginning. And I think this is a driver who he's going to get the track time. And I think track time, some of that practice matters in the other races. We've seen him do it on super speedways. He's got to lock this spot in, obviously, for this to hold. But, at the end of the day, I do think that Corey LaJoie could be a low-owned veteran type of option at a race like this at the beginning of the season that could get us the points we're looking for.
If he doesn't wreck tomorrow, I will bet my pinky finger he's in the race.
He's 6,900, so he's definitely at the top end of the pricing.
Yeah, I was going to say also, I believe as far as qualifying is concerned, I think he is the best driver on speed to not be locked in. So that right there is pretty telling as it is that his car is going to have some good equipment. And here's the thing. LaJoie's never gotten in equipment on this level here too.
I was just saying, he's never been in this level of equipment, Sean. That's the first thing I was thinking of too, was we like the RFK cars, man. Are you worried that it's a 4th car?
Not one bit. Not one bit at all. The only other opportunity he even had on this level was the one time he ended up filling in for Chase Elliott when he ended up missing a race right there too. But we couldn't even really glean much from that start because that was at a track in particular where Hendrick wasn't good. This is a track where the team is actually legitimately very good at too. So, and this is LaJoie's best track type. I almost consider him for my own list. It's just the open car aspect was the only thing holding me back from it.
We are all battling a little different battle this week because we really want to make decisions based on place differential more than anything else, if we're being honest, right? And ownership, which those two things go hand in hand, right? And we won't know this until roughly this time tomorrow night.
But it's yeah, my thing is he's priced up too. Like he's Ty Gibbs is 7,100, Josh Berry is 7,000, Ricky Stenhouse is 7,200, Eric Jones is 73. We got McDowell at 66 right underneath him. So it's like he's like, you could probably argue that he is the last pick amongst everyone within his selection,
within his price point.
Yeah, it's like
makes him contrarian.
He's gone from 29th to 4th. 2 years ago.
And it probably makes him contrarian since he's priced up because people are going to say, hey, why would I go get Corey LaJoie when I can get Todd Gilliland at 5,900?
Or I can get Noah Gragson at 66. Yeah.
Right.
All right, let's keep it rolling here. Let's go through some core fours and round out the DFS section nicely here. So I basically got my core four right here. I have Ryan Blaney at 9,700 on DraftKings, 13,500 on FanDuel. Then I have Christopher Bell. Yeah, that's right. I'm doing it. 8,200 on DraftKings, 9,000 on FanDuel. Then I'm going with Eric Jones at 7,300 on DraftKings, 5,200 on FanDuel. And yeah, I'm doubling on the Legacy Motor Club love at this time by also having JHN, John Hunter Nemechek, in my core four. He's 6,000 on DraftKings and a really dirt cheap 3,800 on FanDuel right there.
That's crazy.
So I'm going Bubba Wallace for my big spin dollars just because I feel like Bubba's got to win this race at some point, Sean.
Yeah, he's come close on several times too.
And then to your point, Mark, I don't know that I can fade Gilliland no matter what. Like if you said, hey, Rich, I think ownership's going to be 57%, I would. Okay, at that point, I think it's worth considering. But like you've said, though, if everybody's on it and you still like it, I mean, what are we going to do to get away from it, right? I don't want to chase the low and chalk to your point, but I don't know too many scenarios where I don't want to play Gilliland. I really struggle with that. I also want John Hunter Nemechek. I'm with you guys and Eric Jones. I don't know what it is. I maybe have a soft spot for John Hunter, but give me some John Hunter Nemechek. And I'm doing it no matter what, guys. We talk about narratives. The biggest narrative that can be blasted this weekend is Corey Heim winning the Daytona 500 and giving NASCAR the proverbial FU, which, in all fairness, has been the theme for the last 6 months has been FU NASCAR, and all the FUs keep winning. So I'm going Corey Heim, and I know it's a little bit crazy, but that's where I'm at.
At this point, you should at 2311 Racing and at Corey Heim in order to vouch for him. You've been doing that all the past 2-3 years, and I think you would be very good to represent Heim.
You know how
Heim for Cup campaign.
You know how mad it made me when Jamie Little said it was Heim time? I about went through the freaking TV going, way to catch up 2 years later, lady. And I like Jamie Little a lot.
I have a lot of respect for her. She was like doing the dog show one night and then went over and did the NASCAR race the next. So
I'm a fan. I think she gets a lot of flack she doesn't deserve. But
she probably also saw your Twitter and stole that. So
that's possible. I didn't think about that. She's not.
Aaron Dolan does that. Blocked. Aaron Dolan does that in football all the time. UFL last year, man. I swear, she took the words right out of my tweet.
Oh, Rich, maybe you could at least live with the fact that maybe in some way you could have coined time.
Right. I thought about it. I legit was like, I wonder if I can
TM.
trademark this. But I was like, it's not my name. So, like, what kind of a move is that if I trademark somebody else's name? You know?
You trademarked the term, I guess.
I guess. The sad thing is you guys wanted just a funny sidebar. Jackson Dart liked a Facebook post of mine when I was commenting on at Jackson Dart. And then Mark Martin, he's liked a couple of my tweets, including the one that's pinned on my page. But the one he liked most recently really got me laughing when I responded to a thread he was in that said they could up a wet dream. And that was responding to NASCAR management, and Mark Martin liked that tweet. So I'm not gonna lie, I do have a Dale Jr. tweet that got like many years ago, but that one by Mark Martin, that one got me in the feels. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey guys, I don't know if you looked in the chat, but I think we might have a Fensty in our chat right here.
We do.
Look who it is.
We do. Look at that.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Detective Marlin.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So
I'm still using Heim. I know it might be crazy, but that's where I'm at. And I'm actually hoping he does semi well here in qualifying and tomorrow. Well, he's first right now in the races tomorrow because I'm hoping it drives down the ownership. I want to be on a low ownership Corey Heim train. That's what I want.
Yeah, well, let's see how it all shakes out in the duels tomorrow. Meanwhile, we should let Detective Marlin over here have his Core 4 read out here for DFS.
Yeah, I went Nemechek as well at 6K. Very hard to pass up for all the reasons we talked about. Corey LaJoie, again, I just think the price up puts him at less than 5% ownership. Chase Briscoe, mid-tier option, $7,900. I'm still not paying all the way up for him. We've already talked about how well he manages his tires and fuel savings. And then Chris Buescher, Mr. Top 10. That's my safer option, but still, I mean, $8,400 for Chris Buescher. So I can put two other guys in my lineup at sub 6K, leave $12,000 on the table, and call it a day.
I like how we all went in different directions regarding our cores, but we all can at least kind of agree about JHN right there.
Yeah. And he's probably the biggest villain in NASCAR. I mean, they want to make Hocevar and Hamlin the villains, and it's not really working out very well. So that works. Dude, now you guys do realize I'm going to lose when Corey Heim qualifies on the pole, right? You know this, right?
Well, place a bet right now, right? I mean, what
I
would
can't.
that be? I guess
I can't. It's live right now. Right now, they have the Ghost Tracker up. Alex Bowman is almost there. Corey Heim is still the leader. Let's see if Bowman gets him. And Bowman is second. 5,000.
He needs this. By the way, I mean, you mentioned Bowman earlier, Sean, and this is to Rich's point, I think at the beginning, it's like if he better get off the pot, like he needs a good start this season. So Bowman should be coming out swinging this week.
All right, last 4 drivers to go. Should we give her, since it's a live stream, should we do a little play-by-play for him? I don't know who's watching that isn't already watching because William here has been keeping us on track. So I appreciate you, William.
Let's do our betting Core 4s in the meantime while we're tracking that here. Let's keep it rolling here.
That works for me.
Betting Core 4s for winners. Well, the odds are definitely going to change after qualifying. But when I was setting this up for the rundown earlier, I said Ryan Blaney at plus 1,000, William Byron at plus 1,100, Kyle Busch at plus 1,600, and Bubba Wallace at plus 2,000 right there. But I think qualifying is definitely going to potentially change this more than likely, and the duels as well. So starting off there.
Well, give me Ryan Preece at 20-1 or 22-1, wherever he was at. This is going to shock you, Sean. Give me Bell at 22-1.
I almost thought that too, actually. Almost pulled the trigger.
It's like I was saying in the article. What I'm trying. Hamlin just passed Heim for the pole. what I was saying before is I don't necessarily like Bell to win per se or want to build around him in DFS, but his odds are off. They're off. I'm sorry. A guy in that type of equipment who's a potential champion, who has run well here before at 20, 22, 25 to 1 with guys like John Hunter Nemechek and not John Hunter, I'm sorry. Briscoe and some of these other guys that haven't had the success, it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. I mean, to think that Priest and Bell are the same odds seems odd to me. I like Priest.
That is weird.
Yeah.
I like Bell's odds. So my betting core for you is a little gamut, right? I like Priest, the driver, but I like Bell, the odds. So give me Bell, give me
Priest.
Priest.
And Bell.
And then the other guys, look, part of me as a fan just wants to put a little something on Bubba, right? I'm living in this 20 to 30 to 1 range. This is where I'm living for my bets. And honestly, I want to throw one on Corey Heim at 10,000 plus 10,000. I'm sorry. At least I'm consistent with my fandom, damn it.
Hey, more power to you. Credit where credit is due that you are sticking to your guns with that.
So
Mark,
give me
what
that
do you
one.
got?
And I tell you what, Chandler Smith at plus 13,000, I wouldn't necessarily go with those guys as for a win. But I tell you what, to Sean's point earlier, man, when you can get 5, 6, 7 to 1 for top 10s, man, those are the bets I want to live in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what? I actually like the idea of Chandler Smith for a potential top 10 as well. The previous 2 times that he has raced at Daytona were both top 15 finishes. So, and that was with a call-it car. So,
right. We got to change at the front. The one and only Mr. Qualifier.
So I'm pretty balanced with my bets here. I got Corey Heim plus 8,000. So I'm with you, Rich, on that. I'm kind of like, I want a few shots and then maybe a few guys that give me a shot at getting my money back as well. So it's like,
right.
Heim plus 8,000. I love that one. The other one was, where is it here? So, okay. So talked about Stenhouse, how I'm not that interested in DFS. So again, taking it the reverse direction here, I'm going to bet on Stenhouse to win. We've seen him do it in 2023. That would be a long shot for him to get another one, but this is the type of track for him to do it. I also want John Hunter Nemechek because I'm just on him across the board, plus 5,000 as well.
Love that. Love that.
And then give me the narrative because I'm probably not, again, in DFS. I don't know. We'll see in DFS, but I'm considering Hamlin plus 1,600. It's interesting. He was plus 1,600 on some books, but plus 900 on others. So,
well, I tell you what, shop for Heim. I saw him as high as 10,000.
Yeah. So it's like the books are all over the place right now. Not all over the place, but there's a lot of volatility.
We're going to have a fun front row here, kids. We are going to have a fun front row. Let's see. We got one more turn to go here. Let's see if he can hold it. Oh, he pulled away a little bit. I tell you what, guys, the top 4 cars are going to be sub 49.10s. The top 4 guys are going to be sub 4 because Hamlin's going to be 4th at 40.099. And where's he at? Kyle Busch for the pole at 49.006. He almost went sub 49. Good call, William. Good call, buddy. You were close. Does he have another sub 49 lap? He did, but boy, he was close. So your front row is going to be Chase Briscoe, Mr. Qualifier, and Kyle Busch.
Briscoe and Kyle. Ooh.
All right, so
and those 2 positions are locked into the 500.
Side note, do not use Kyle Busch or Chase Briscoe in any lineups for your duels. Just fade them. Just fade them.
Yeah.
I know. I saw. We talked about that bet, William G. I did put the bet in on over the half.
Woo. It's a good start.
Do it. I put that bet in. It was, I don't remember what you got for odds, but I took him at plus 150 to get a win.
Nice. Absolutely nice.
I assume they will go live once qualifying is done and locked. William, I would expect I bet you by midnight tonight they'll have the salaries up for the duels. That's just a guess of mine. I would be shocked if it's much more than 7, 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow.
I don't know. Me and Jorge Pucks always joke about it in the UFL, but it's like the DraftKings interns sometimes deal with some of these smaller kind of ancillary slates and lesser operated sports. So we'll see, man.
William, did you take the bet, William? Did you do it at plus 125? I would have. It's even money and better, so I would have.
Yeah, I agree with that call right there.
Not yet. Go do it before it's too late. The odds just changed to minus 140.
Oh.
No, I don't know if that's true. I'm just making up. So, gentlemen, this has been fun. I know we got to make it shorter, although we did have a big run due through this week because we will not have this many part-time drivers. So that in itself was quite a bit to cover.
And it's the Daytona 500. We can allow it. We're live here.
That's fair. And William, it's not Hard Rock. Everybody took the lines down during qualifying. So they take all the lines down. They don't want to get caught with their pants down. So they just pull all the lines in case something happens. Because I guarantee you, the plus 10,000 that I wrote about in my article, you're not going to find that for Corey Heim now. It's not going to happen. In fact, I can already tell you a bunch of stuff in my article is going to be off. But I wanted to kind of illustrate to you why we have to chase early lines. So historically, that would have been out before qualifying. Unfortunately, because of, and here's the real kicker, the odds didn't drop till today on the other two series. The salaries didn't come up till late last night into this morning. So, we were all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're Tampa Tarpons. All right. William, thank you for sharing that. That is good to know. And I know we have interacted, and you had, wasn't it you that had a sweet lineup last week? Or, wasn't it the Clash that you had a good little lineup? Oh, maybe I'm getting the name confused. But all right, appreciate that. Yeah, let us know your Discord names, guys. That's guys and gals. Trust me, we like to make friends. We learn names.
Out.
Yeah, you gotta also me and Beard. I don't know if you're in Tampa, but me and Beard are in Tampa too. Do a little meetup, football meetup or NASCAR.
There you go. Go to the Tampa race together.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now, man. I'm probably gonna go to the trucks race. So
St. Petersburg.
Yep.
Well, I had a blast with the live stream, Sean. I hope we can continue doing this as a live stream. I want the interaction with folks. And I'm hoping as we get into it, we'll get some more folks in here. We'll get some questions. He's 5 minutes from Tampa Bay Downs. He's right there.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
Hurricane. Was it Hocevar's? You know what? We'll call Hocevar, William, and we're going to tell him he needs to fix the car.
At least get a free meal at Chili's.
Then after that, you could say that
Presidente margarita.
Yeah.
Then you could say that whole experience, you rode the Dente to get it done.
That's right. What did Hocevar do the other day where he said, well, I bought this, I did this, and I went and celebrated at Chili's? What's that? So,
all right. So just to wrap up here real quick, I did name a couple of drivers for top 10s. Some of these I think are going to be minus odds, but I'll shout it out anyway. Chris Buescher, Chase Briscoe, Eric Jones, Corey LaJoie, Todd Gilliland, and JHN, all for top 10 bets. Put it right there.
Hey, odds are going to change. Get in Discord. We will keep you updated there.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say this. Eric Jones is a potential long shot winner bet. I kind of like the idea of that too.
I'm with you. I can dig it.
Also,
Josh Berry's another one.
If you wanted to think back towards 50 years ago, that was 1976 when in one of the most dramatic finishes ever, David Pearson ended up beating Richard Petty right there.
Oh, that was
43 car.
Right. That's right. All right, gentlemen.
We should send Mark that finish whenever we get a chance. He might get a kick out of that one.
He would get a kick out of that.
Dude, I will say my NASCAR. I think I've elevated my game and understanding the sport a little bit more.
100%.
I've got my favorable lines on the tracks now from playing the video game so much this offseason. So
shout out to NASCAR
I can
25.
talk lines.
Shout out
That's
to NASCAR
awesome.
25.
That's Mark. I don't know how we did it, but we converted you into like a diehard NASCAR fan, and I'm here for it, man. Props to you. I love it.
I'm going to be buying my Ram shirts like Brandon Butterbean McQueen 2 weeks from now. I'm going to be the number one fan in the corner banging on the fence.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Gentlemen, it's been fun. We should probably wrap it up. If you have tuned in, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Shout out to all of you that have jumped onto Discord. If you don't feel like typing to us, that's okay. We'll give you props, Finsty. And William G., thank you very much for chiming in. We really appreciate it. Be sure to head over to Fantasy Guru to check out the other packages if you so desire. Chances are you already have a package with us if you're viewing this, though. So don't forget the baseball stuff is dropping now. Patio Joe, Ray Flowers, they're doing their thing along with some others. Don't forget that. Always got Jeff's one man's opinion. Highly recommend that. Even outside of football season, that's actually when you find some of the real fun, good stuff, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, shout out to all our members and everybody at Fantasy Guru. Be sure to follow Sean on X at SeanE247 and Mark Hogan at DFS_Marlin, because he's a big deep sea fisherman. Don't follow me on X. It's been a pleasure. Thank you to the Elite Plus Network and Fantasy Guru. Until next time, peace.
One more thing I'm going to shout out real quick.
My bad.
I'm happy to say that I'm also nominated for an FSWA award.
Oh, too. I forgot. Shame on us for not mentioning that. We mentioned that previously. Good luck, Sean. I hope you win it. You would be well deserving of it, sir.
Yeah, Racing Rider of the Year. Let's go. We'll see what happens. It's exciting to even be nominated right there. But, yeah.
Great work.
Woo!
Good job.
All right.
Congrats. Good job on the nomination, and good luck winning the whole deal, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that a lot. Really means a lot to me. So, yeah, that's that. Happy Daytona Day. Let's roll it on out of here.
Hey, turn into the duels. I will be in Discord tomorrow watching the duels. Feel free to holler at me.
Woo! Let's do it. Till next time, peace out, and good luck in Daytona.